Checking. All right. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy ATM back again with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to discuss. Let me move this a little bit. I wanted to discuss with you, gentlemen, as you see in the title, cooperation versus competition. And there is a YouTube channel by the name of Manosphere Highlights Daily that I'm subscribed to on my main channel, not the one that you guys know me from. And I watched his video that I'm going to show to y'all. And it made me think of this kind of title, and I wanted to bring this perspective to you, gentlemen, as I am thinking it's important to kind of think of this and how we're going to operate within the dating market, within the relationship standpoint. So I just want to say fair use. I'm only going to use part of the video anyway. I will give credit where credit is due. Everything, all the links and stuff will be down in the description. I highly recommend you going to watch the full video as an entirety, as the second half of the video that I won't be showing was very interesting to listen to. I personally thought it was. So let's kind of get into it. Let me make sure. Unmute. I just can't hear it. Let me see. Still can't hear it. I wonder what that is. Maybe it's the speakers are going through the mic, and the speakers are not supposed to be going to the mic. So let's run it back. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1.
I want to put a baby in you. I'm sorry. Is that creepy?
Fellas, let me ask you something. What happens when a career woman and a family-minded man try to build a life together?
Doesn't work.
A train wreck. And this show lays it all out like a crime scene. Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Today we're diving into Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the TV series starring Donald Glover and Maya Erskine, aka the perfect example of why you should never date a career woman. In a life of espionage, wealth, and travel, one thing remains the same. A career woman is never fully in the relationship. Let's get into it. Quick note, to give you the best experience without copyright interruptions, our full uncut content is available.
It would have been nice. All right, then you're not pregnant. It would have been nice. You know, it was fun to think about for a second. You don't think it would be a good idea, or?
I don't think it would have been a good thing if I was pregnant right now.
Okay, why?
Do I need to have a reason?
Yes. Yeah. Especially if you're in a relationship, there needs to be a reason as to why. Like if you two are trying to work it out, you need to have a reason as to why you kind of don't want those things. Because then it kind of leaves everything for speculation and up in the air. When if you had a poignant reason, it makes it easier for both parties to kind of understand where you're coming from.
You kind of do, yeah.
John, you want to bring kids into this life after a day like we had today?
We're not the first people to raise kids in a dangerous situation. It's called Detroit.
This is not just talking about life being dangerous. We are literally spies that are getting shot at. We're not in a place to have kids.
We'll do low risk. I'll do low risk. Like we'll deliver packages and we'll stack our money doing this and then.
Seriously? You seriously want to be a mailman and have kids, and that you would be happy with that? Because I don't think I would be happy with that. That's not what I signed up for. I don't want to go down. I want to keep going up. I thought we could have higher risk eventually.
How?
There it is, right? So to kind of go into this a little bit, instead of letting the whole video play, but she kind of makes the point where the dynamic for these two is the separation, right? The separation of where he wants to lead the relationship and she wants to lead her own life. She necessarily doesn't want to lead the relationship. She just wants to lead her own life, and her own life is whatever they're doing. Obviously, this is a Mr. and Mrs. spinoff of, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. This is more of like a DEI type of thing, where they want to get other people to play the same characters. But I always thought this was a movie. I didn't think this was. I thought this was a spin-off movie, not a TV series. But that doesn't really matter for the sake of the video. But it's kind of where the relationship wants to be headed, right? Do you want to lead into starting a family and having a legacy, or do you want your legacy to be kind of what you're doing now? So I think MHD is going to kind of get into that aspect in a second.
What about family? What about?
I didn't think you were that. I didn't think you were that simple-minded, like that traditional.
Don't call me stupid just because.
I didn't call you stupid.
I know what you're saying.
I just love how this scene spells it out so clearly. John wants kids. He wants a family, stability. Jane, she wants the mission, the career, the excitement, the independence. Sounds familiar? The key word Jane mentions here is traditional, because deep down, she knows exactly what she's rejecting. Women prioritizing careers over family is a modern experiment, and let's be honest, it's failing. Jane isn't a woman for her husband. She's a woman for her employer.
That's the point. And that's kind of where I wanted to. Obviously, I'm going to go a little bit more, maybe another minute or two of the video, but that's kind of where I wanted to lead this conversation for us as gentlemen, is understanding the difference between cooperation and competition. For a career woman, it's more based off the competition of who is her leader, right? Is her leader her boss? Is her leader her man? And from 8 times out of 10, it's usually her manager or her boss or her CEO, whoever it is, because she wants to, without lack of a better term, suck up to them to make more money, right? The goal is to get higher in her field and to do better and make more money to do whatever the hell she wants to do with that, extra resources. The problem is that this is more of a competition because she also knows that she has a biological clock. And a lot of women, even if they say they don't want a family, a lot of them, when they are around certain people, feel a way if they are, the odd one out, right? Going forward, they may feel this less and less, but when they were in that 20 to about 35, 36, 37, they feel it heavy of, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, but the feminism and girl boss and I don't need no man type of tropes kind of snap them out of reality and into the fantasy of, well, I can just put that off for later. But in reality, you really can't, right? So you're seeing that with other women around them who are older and have done what they're aspiring to be or aspiring to do, regret it. Some don't and some do, right? The majority do regret it, obviously, because they always say it means nothing to have all these material things and these resources and this high paying job and this nice house, and you don't share it with nobody. You don't have no man or you don't have kids coming home and saying, hey, mom, how you doing? Or having a conversation with you, right? So for this aspect is how do you men want to work? First off, it's always about, and first off, it's always about, do you want a family or not as the man, right? We're not even worried about the women for the second. Do you want a family? Do you desire that? Is that one of your main goals, or is it having a career over family, right? That's what you have to decide as a man. You have to pick one, right? You rarely do both of them work tandem, right? You have to pick one because you're spearheading your focus into one of them. right? So number one is that. Once you figure that out, then comes, how do you want, if you are career focused, do you want a career woman? I would highly suggest men who are more career focused to get career women. Leave the cooperation type of women who want to be wives alone, because you are fucking it up for them and making it an issue later on down the line for these type of women. But if you are more of a career man, you career focused, you don't really care about for kids and stuff, a career woman is definitely what you want, right? A woman who is okay with not having children, and you two living your lives and your DNA dying off, right? That is essentially what is, I would assume, or from an opinion base, would be the best for both of you to focus on that, right? If you are more of a family oriented man, then cooperation is more your speed, and finding those type of women. Now, cooperation women are harder to find because you have career women who will masquerade as cooperation in order to get stability, right? Because it's harder to get those career men because they have more options. But for the cooperation or family oriented men, this is the video more so for you of why leaving career women alone, or competition type of women alone, is beneficial, because they cause chaos, and they waste your time from finding someone that you want to have a family with, because they are kind of like this woman and don't really want a family, but they don't want to be alone, and they want to lean on you for more of that masculine energy and that provider type of mindset and role. They don't want to lose it, without having a backup. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to kind of figure out as a man where you want to lead your life, and then finding that type of woman. But I think we only got another two minutes of this, and then I kind of go into the rest of the video.
She clocks in at work and clocks out at home. And this, fellas, is where the problems begin. Watch this.
Well done, Jane.
It's probably just a typo.
Typo? You really think I'm stupid? Like, how did you log the mission?
Typed exactly what happened.
So you typed, blew up John's cottage, saved the day again. John drove some.
Okay, so you're mad that I saved the day. That's what you're mad about.
No, I'm mad that you take all the credit every time.
Stop saying that. I didn't
I'm gonna take
the
a
credit.
shower.
She did take the credit.
This is pure gold, because it exposes something modern women will never admit. They value their boss's approval over their husbands. Instead of cooperating with her man, Jane is competing with him.
Yeah.
You see this all the time. Women wanting equal partnerships until they realize that means sharing the spotlight. And then, suddenly equality takes a back seat to one-upping their man. And just when you think it couldn't get more obvious, here comes Hi, their boss, with the real question. We think you're ready to go up a level. Are you ready to replace your John? Mm-hmm. Boom! This is where the strong, independent woman delusion kicks in. Jane ties her worth to her career and expects John to do the same. That's why when John says he wants to be a mailman, aka a stable job that lets him raise a family, Jane loses it.
Seriously? You seriously want to be a mailman and have kids?
She's not upset because he wouldn't be able to provide for her family. She's upset because a mailman doesn't sound prestigious.
It's not prestigious, and it's not flashy. It's not something that you can, be braggadocious or prideful or egotistical to your friends about. And this is where I really wanted to make the video and point, because I wanted to talk about it from more of an dark or an evil perspective, right? We all have good and evil within us, and a lot of times my evil thought process will give me a different perspective I wasn't thinking about. So I think with career women, many men, if they are not career focused, should either do one of two things. One, leave them the hell alone, right? Don't deal with them. right? If you're looking for a family, if you're more in my age bracket or a little bit older, you're looking for cooperation. You're looking for a woman who wants to be a wife and have kids and all that. You leave these career oriented and career focused women alone. And then the second, more dark side is you use them. You use them for sex. You use them for their money. You use them for their time, right? How women have been using men over the course of the past 100 or 150 years or whatever. More so now in the past 30. But however these career women are, you use them. At the end of the day, if you are a co-operator, if you're a man who's really looking for marriage, if you're not ready at the particular moment in time, let's say you care more for family, but let's say you're like 22, 23, right? You don't have any real stability yet. You won't get any until you're about 28, 29. You know that you still want to have sex. You still want companionship for the time being. Career women are the way to go, right? It makes unless you find a cooperation type of woman that really wants to run with you and build, which is not a lot nowadays. It makes more sense to go with the career focused women, right? You two have sex with each other. Have her buy you stuff. Have you waste her time for the time being because she don't want kids, right? She don't care for the family, and that's fine for you because at the end of the year, at the back of your mind, you don't care for this woman, right? You care to use her for the time being, which is more of like the dark perspective, because then you're using somebody, but you're not. It's not like you're not valuing her as a human being. You just don't value her as a wife or a mother. You don't value her in that way. So that kind of perspective gets thrown in there, because if you are a cooperation type of man and you want to have a family, it does not make sense to tie yourself to a career oriented woman because she's going to throw you and her kids to the wolves to get ahead in life. I've seen it personally, and I've seen it in videos as well, where a career oriented woman has children and the children fall by the wayside. And it's kind of disrespectful to the kids and to your man. If you are more career oriented, it makes no sense for you to have children because there was no need for you to have them if you're going to throw everything, you know, overboard for your career, which, like I was saying earlier, is the dynamic of the legacy. Does your legacy matter more in having a family, or does your legacy matter more in having your career? Right, and they all have their drawbacks and being sacrificing for whatever it is. But is your approval as a career oriented woman your CEO? Right, is he your leader? He or she your leader? Is that what you focus on? And maybe your legacy is the material things with which you have your house, your car, maybe some jewelry, and looking nice and being able to brag to your friends, maybe not necessarily your family, but your friends, that you go travel and all that different type of stuff. Or is your legacy your family, your husband and your kids and maybe grandkids, and hopefully, if you live long enough, great grandkids? Because I've seen both sides, and from a male's perspective, who's more cooperation focused, it makes more sense to have the family. I've seen the what would I say? I've seen it where a woman has grandkids and great grandkids come over, and everyone's having a good time, and it's hectic for that time being. Maybe the house is a mess afterwards, but the joy that I see from my grandmothers seeing their grandchildren and spending time and having a good time. And then I've seen it within my own mom, where her kids come over, and her ex-husband and part of his kids, and everyone comes over the house. I've seen it. I've watched, um, from afar. Obviously, we're all having a good time, but I pay attention to the small things that those particular women enjoy, and get to see the kind of peaceful happiness on their face that they may have made the right choice and may have been, at a different time, but that is kind of where my perspective lies. So I'll play the last like 30 seconds of this video, and we'll leave you gentlemen with something at the end.
It's not about stability, it's about status. And that, fellas, is why you never date a career woman, because she'll always respect her boss more than she respects you. This one is poetic. Jane literally blows up the house that John bought, the home, the stability, the future he wanted to build. And this symbolizes something deeper. Jane doesn't want a family life. She doesn't want commitment. It's not that she can't have a stable life with John. She just doesn't want to. Check this out.
I don't know.
And that's where I'll leave it. I would highly recommend everyone go watch the rest of the video. I think it's important to note at that end of her destroying almost as like a last ditch effort to keep the man around, to destroy the very thing that he was building, which symbolizes a lot of career women. If they have a dude who is more family oriented, they need to destroy what that man has, because she's always hoping in the back of her mind that man stays and does one of two things: changes her mind about being family oriented, which is not feasible, but she thinks that. And two, or the second option, is that he changes for what she wants, which if you are more of a family oriented man, you're not going to change off of wanting having a family and just piss off with this female. That makes no sense. Like, I'm not going to lose the ability to have children, raise them, watch them grow and be successful, and not successful just in financial, but as in growing adults. I'm not going to lose that opportunity because a fuck all woman wants to waste my damn time. I'm going to use you, and then once I'm done, I'll go find a woman who's younger than you, right? Let's say this woman is like, I'm 30 now. So let's say I'm messing with a 31, 32-year-old woman, or 29. If I know within that first year where nothing's going to work out, I'm going to start looking for somebody else that really wants a family. And if that woman's 25, 26, then fucking so be it, right? I'm not going to waste my time with a woman that doesn't want what I want, right? And that's where this whole video stems from, is cooperation versus competition. She's competing with you as a career woman for your time and for you to do what she wants you to do, versus cooperation, where that woman wants to work with you to achieve the goal with whatever, not just the family, but whatever y'all goals are going to be. And it's not just career women that are like this, right? I wanted to make this last point. There can be, it's a very small amount, right? If a woman gets to see this to the end of this video, don't think you are this woman. You probably are not, right? These are exceptions to the rule. These aren't the rules. The rules is these career women for cooperation type men aren't worth it. But there are career women who either do change because they see it, before the writing's on the wall for them, and they change into cooperation. And then on the other side, there are cooperation type women who want to be career oriented women, or they want their cake and eat it too, where they want to have a cooperation type of man, but also be that career woman where they think they can balance, which is very difficult to do, right? Because you only have a certain amount of time in the day. You only have a certain amount of mental focus you can give to either your family or your career. Something is going to lack. It's not going to lack in a way where it completely falls apart, hopefully, right? But in more times than not, it's more about what you focus your attention to. And the last thing I'll leave with you gentlemen, besides you obviously going to watch, the rest of the video, because he does talk about something. He talks about a real world example, and what the woman says is very interesting to me personally. I won't really make a video on that, but my camera died. But what I'll leave with you gentlemen here is cooperation versus competition. The choice is yours. Figure out if that woman is viable. If she is, great. If she's not, and you are someone who is later in your years, you need to start looking for cooperation ASAP. And if that means leaving the country, right? If that means finding more cooperation type of women somewhere else in a different race or a different ethnicity, whether no matter what race you are personally, but if you can find that in someone else, by all means do that. Do not waste your time with career oriented women if they are not what you want, right? Yeah, ATM fam, I'm signing out. Peace.